Hey guys, today I'm working on a 2006 Lincoln LS and I'm going to be changing out the radiator. I've already taken this thing apart. I just wanted to give you all an idea of what it is that you're going to be doing to change this out. The lady called me to do this job because they wanted to charge her $1,600 at the dealership. Obviously a ripoff. I mean, come on. Shouldn't cost that much. I was thinking, they told her it was a luxury vehicle and that's why it would be so expensive. So what I'm trying to do is basically just give you all an idea of what it entails. It's not very hard at all. You need to set aside like 3 hours of labor time, or 4 hours, maybe 5 to be safe if you're not very mechanically inclined. But the first thing you're going to want to do is go into the trunk and disconnect the battery. I can't get into this lady's trunk because she's got it loaded with stuff, so you can open up the trunk on your own. I'm sure you know how to do that if it's your car. Disconnect the battery over there. Should take a wrench if it's a side post, or if it's a top. Well, still you can use a regular set of hand tools, wrench, sockets. But the first thing you're going to want to do after you disconnect the battery is go to the underside of the car. There's a plastic cover on the bottom. See, you got 4 of those screws there. They're 732s. So you're gonna need a socket set like this. It's a real tiny one over here, one of the little small ones. You're gonna get those 5. So those 4, and then over here you have one in the back center. If you go underneath the car, you can see it right here. You'll see it sticking out because you can't get the cover off without it. Okay, anyway, you're gonna come under here, and I think it's a 5/16 screw right here behind this silver hose. You'll see a I think it's 5/16. Looks like this. I'm gonna do that side, then bear with me on the video quality. I'm gonna come over to the other side. There's the other one from this side. Oh no, that's not it, I'm sorry. So looking underneath the car on this side, you'll see my wrenches here on it. See that rusty thing right there? You're gonna undo that. If you have ratcheting wrenches, it'll make your life easier. But see, there's a little clip back there on the radiator that the screw screws into, and you're just gonna undo that, and that'll get the bottom part of the radiator free. The radiator is gonna have 4 of these things that you're going to need to do. So the other one I showed you on the other side, you're going to undo that one, you're going to undo this one. And if you want, while you're down here, you'll see there's a hose, the radiator hose. I already undid it, but if you stick your hand underneath here, you can get to the lower radiator hose. It's back there. I'm so sorry I can't show you better thing, but you'll see it's a hose that connects to the bottom of the radiator. I'll come back out of here. Okay, so have a catch pan under there when you take the hose off, because a bunch of coolant's going to come out, all the coolant in the radiator. So once that's draining, because I already did that part, you can come up here and disconnect the airbox. You have 2 clips, one here, one here. So just pull it up, pull this one up, and then pull down and towards you. And it's gonna see those 5 tabs right there. You have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tabs. You have this little sensor here, like a mass airflow or something. You're gonna undo that sensor wire. You just pull in the little red thingy. I think you pull it out or something. It came off real easy for me. This hose right here, this one I didn't even have to disconnect. It just came off when I disconnected the whole assembly. It pulls off of here. This thing's broken. That might be why it just fell off. You have this hose right here. It just pulls off. You don't have to unscrew anything. There wasn't any hose clamp or anything. The next thing you're going to do is you have a what do you call it, flathead right here. Just undo that, and you can not pull this off yet, but you can pull that part. And then over here on the left, you have a nut. It looks like a 10 millimeter You just undo that, and then this plastic hole, that nut, it sits over this plastic, and then you pull that off, and that'll give this thing free way to get out of your way. You can put that over here. Anyway, so now this is what your car is going to look like. You have this plastic cover here, this one that has all the emissions crap on it, and what you can do is over here you have this little plastic tab thing. You just get under there with a flathead and pop it up, and then get under here and pop it up. See it? So first do right here underneath the nail right here, and then get underneath there and pop it up, and it'll just pop right out. See how those things work? You got one there, one here, and one here that's missing. Oh shit, now there's two missing. Excuse my language. Okay, so put that over here. Okay, now car's gonna look like this. You have this upper radiator hose. You get this with a flathead. Come to the other side. This side is going to be connected to your radiator too with this band, and you can also get it off with a flathead or what looks like an 8 to 10 millimeter socket. Anyway, can move that out of the way. You have a fan connection over here. Undo this thing. See? Down here you have this the connection. You just pull this back towards the back of the vehicle. It just comes off. See? Anyway, now that disconnects your little fan shroud, right? The fan shroud is connected. Sorry, let me zoom out so you can see. Oh, these things here, sorry. There's going to be 1, 2, 3. I'm going to take that off. Looks like an 8 millimeter. I'm going to set those over here too, and just try and keep it organized so you know like what came off first. This one over here, that's going to come off. It hangs over the radiator, so you obviously can't get the radiator out until you take those 3 things on both sides off. So we'll take that one, put it over here. Okay, stay organized. Now you have one over here. I think it's an 8. You take that off. It secures the fan shroud to the radiator. So take that thing off with like a ratcheting wrench if you have one, or just a regular wrench, or you can use a socket if you can get in there. And then on this side you have another one. See how I already took it off? It's an 8 or something on the top right here. So take that off. I already screwed them back in because I don't like to lose stuff, so I put it back where it belongs. Now you can pull this fan shroud out. If I remember right, there wasn't. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You can't yet. You can't do that yet. I'm sorry. So you have this thing over here. There's a. Hold on. Let me see it. This junk's in the way. Here we go. You have this weird looking thing with a connector. I'm not even sure what this thing is, but see how it has this. Hold on. See this one right here that I'm pointing to with my. That's like a. It looks like an 8 millimeter thing. Well, it secures to the fan shroud, and it goes in that hole. This 8 millimeter one goes in that hole. So disconnect it. I put it back in here so I wouldn't lose it, because I'm going to connect it back later. So that disconnects that part, right? So that hole right there. Anyway, now you move this thing out of the way. It's kind of tight in there, so, and it's hard to do this with one hand, so sorry, forgive me. Move that out of the way, and then you have way down in the bottom this weird thing. It's got two. You see that black thing sticking out there? Right there. That one. You're going to undo that. There's a bolt there. And then to the left of it, right there, see the edge of the finger pointing to it. There's another one right there. Disconnect that one too. I know there's not a bolt in there. I took it out. You can't, but there's going to be a thing that's connected on one side there, and then on the other side right there, that black thing sticking out there. So once you disconnect that, this fan shroud will be free, and then you can just lift it out. Okay, I suggest going in there with a wrench. I think it's like an 8 or a 10, but you can get at this thing pretty easy. Here, take this thing out. I'm working on and watch out, because that thing that comes out with the fan shroud, it'll get caught, and you can break that wire, and you do not want to mess that thing up. So just be really careful when you pull it out, because it got caught that time and the other time, the first time I took it out. So now, see, you'll see there's a lot of space in here, right? You're almost done. So with removing it anyway. So let me move this thing out of the way. Okay, you can lean the radiator forward, and first thing you'll notice is you'll have this one right here. The position it's in when you get to it is going to be like that. This thing right here, it sits, let's see, oh yeah, that's right, it sits on top of here. This is a AC condenser, and you'll know it's an AC condenser because you'll see lines going to it. This rubber thing right here sits on top of it, and what you're going to do is, there's a nut underneath here. I loosened this thing already, okay, this tab, or this thing I'm pushing on, and I loosened it. See how there's a 8mm under there? Well, I suggest you not mess with this thing. So don't mess with this 8mm one that has this, because there's no need to remove it. It's going to come out with your radiator, so don't mess with that one. What you'll see directly underneath it, attached to this metal framework or whatever, there's an 8mm thing there. You are going to want to disconnect that. So undo that with your 8mm wrench. Don't drop it. I suggest you get a hand, like a magnet, because I dropped my wrench down there and I couldn't take it off. Here's the other one that I undid. See, I undid this top one also. You shouldn't do that. Just leave it where it's at. Leave it where it's at. And underneath it, see, there's the 8mm that I undid. I'm gonna have to tighten it anyway. Well, there's underneath that, there's another 8mm thing on this metal framework. Undo that one. It goes right here. See it, the hole for it. Undo that, and then we're gonna go around. Oh wait, we already undid the two on the bottom. Sorry. So those two that we undid on the bottom, like I said, I think they're 5/16. See right here, when you undo this one here on the bottom, right there. Sorry, I know it's blurry. Behind that, well, that brown tab, see that rusty tab right there behind the pipe? Once you undo that, then the radiator will be free. And then you're basically just going to go in reverse to install it, and then put in your coolant, and you should be good. But I just want to show you it's a real quick job, so don't think it's undoable. Sorry again for the quality of the video. I plan to get a GoPro later on, make it a little bit easier to record this, and be a little more organized, and also I can have both my hands to show you what's going on here. Always put the stuff back in the holes that you get them out of, and that way it'll keep things organized, and then you can go back and connect your battery. When you fill this thing up with coolant for the first time, because you don't know if the radiator is the actual problem or not, you just can't assume. You know, you might be wrong. What you could do is put some distilled water in there, and then start your car up and drive it around and see if it leaks still. If it does, that way you save like $20 in coolant, because you're gonna have to drain it all out again anyway. You do distilled water, and then if it works and it stays pressurized, then you can go and loosen the bottom radiator hose, and you can let it all out, and put the radiator hose back on, fill it with coolant, and then this time you can drive around for real with good coolant, and you know, your car will be ready to go. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. The only other video I saw was like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. I figured people wouldn't want to watch that. I know mine's like on 15 minutes here. Thanks. hopefully like this video if it helped you out. Subscribe if you want, and I'll do some videos later on, hopefully better quality. Thank you for watching.